What's up? I'm Paul Pierce, and I feel privileged to be a Jayhawk.
Hanni and the Hawks is presented by Jefferson's with 2 Lawrence locations, home of the best wings in town, 21 signature sauces. You got to check them out. But if wings aren't your thing, how about a burger? They hand patty their certified Angus beef every single day. Also, hand bread their tenders. They make their ranch in-house. There is truly something for everybody at Jefferson's. Go see my buddy Brandon Graham and the entire crew at Jefferson's, either on Mass or Wakarusa in Lawrence, Kansas. What a special treat we've got for you today. One of the all-time great Jayhawks, one of the all-time great basketball players anywhere, the truth, Paul Pierce, back in Lawrence, back on campus at the University of Kansas. Great to see you, Paul.
Yeah, it's good to see you.
Thanks for being with us.
Yeah, definitely, man. It's feels great to be back, man. I mean, it just brings back so many memories of my childhood, just rolling through the campus. I was telling my daughter how, the first day of snow, how I'm running to the bus stop, I fell right there. And I used to go to class, walk all the way up the hill, the buses we used to take, man. It's just bringing back so many memories. It's giving me chills.
As we walked around this morning, you walked through the locker room, walked through the practice gym, the basketball office. Talk about the transformation of this building from in the last 30 years. You haven't been back since Legends of the Fog in 2011 and haven't been to a game since we figured 06.
Yeah, it's been about like 06, man.
Yeah.
Dang. I've been away way too long, man. I mean, for me to be away, but, things in life change, kids, things of that nature. But to come back in this building, man, I'm telling you, I just had chills. It's just I stopped and I just looked up. And the first thing I looked for? I looked for the sign, Beware of the Fog. That was the first sign I looked at, because I just remember always looking up at that sign like, man, it's really like that in here. And the floor it just felt like the floor had a glow. Like, I'm serious. It was just glowing to me. And I was just like, man, it was an honor to run up and down this court for 3 years.
Yeah, that's fantastic. You had a chance to watch practice on Friday and then address the team afterwards. And boy, when Paul Pierce speaks, guys, listen, right? 10-time NBA All-Star, Hall of Famer. And one of the things that really made an impression on me, you said, hey, guys, don't take this for granted. Look around this place. There's no place like this place. You talked about the decorations on the Christmas tree, so to speak. Recreate that for our listeners.
Like, you go into these arenas, and like I told them, I've been in so many different arenas around the world, not just NBA, college, NBA, all around the world, and it's just nothing like this place. It's like, it's just, you look up, and the similarities to it is Boston. So then you come, this is the college form of what Boston has. You look up and you just like, man, you look at Banner Bird, retired jerseys, Banner Bird. It's just, they're everywhere. And it's just like I told you, it's like the decorations on a tree. Some decorations are great, some not so good. You've seen those trees. And this decorations that they've been able to put up, they fill up the tree. You see? And it's just like, you go into some people's houses, they're missing carpet, they're missing curtains, they're missing lightings. We got everything.
Yeah, there's no NIT banners on this.
We don't put that up in here.
We don't put that up. You and I talked this morning about, you've been a part of the 2 greatest traditions, college basketball down Fieldhouse, Boston Garden.
Yeah.
I mean, does it get any better than that?
It really doesn't. Just the history. It's like just a historic part of basketball comes from these 2 organizations. Like when you talk about James Naismith and you talk about guys like Red Auerbach, who kind of pioneered what the Boston Celtics legacy was all about. And it's just like, it really goes hand in hand, I felt like. And it's like, I really look back at my Boston and my basketball career. It's like, man, I was truly part of some special places. When I go into this arena, just the aura it has here in Allen Fieldhouse, driving out front, just right in front, looking at the Naismith statue right there and just seeing Allen Fieldhouse right here. And it's just like, man, I've been a part of some real tradition. I had a chance to meet Wilt Chamberlain when I was here. You meet the legends, obviously JoJo White played for Kansas, and he was a Boston Celtic. So, like, we had a lot in common, and we talked about our days here and in Boston. So this comes with a lot of tradition.
How about 2022, where we were in New Orleans? I get a phone call from you that Saturday night after we beat Villanova and says, I want to come. I'm like, of course. Come.
Yeah,
And
it's
talk about that trip. Talk to the team that Sunday night.
right.
And
That's right.
the most fun night. The way that game happened, down 15 to come back and win. Just talk about that experience.
Man, you know what? I was in Las Vegas watching the Final Four. I was watching it on the big screen. I was like, I should have been at the Final Four. And I was like, if they get to the national championship, I'm definitely going. So when they won, I was like, Greg, yo, I got to be there. Jumped on the flight the next day, flew to New Orleans. Came straight to the hotel, had a chance to talk to the team. They welcomed me. See, that's the thing when you're dealing with franchises like Boston or organizations and colleges like Kansas. It's like we family. Sure. It's like it don't matter. Like you know how you have friends that you might not talk to for quite some time, but then when you start talking to them, when you talk to them, it's like you talked to them yesterday. Yeah. It doesn't feel like it because that's what this family at KU is all about. And I got here. And I was just like, man, they're about to do it. I felt it. And when that first half happened, we was down so many points, I was like, no, I hope I didn't jinx us. And then they made the run and win the championship. We had a chance to celebrate. It was some of my former teammates, other current players were there. And it was just like the whole, when you looked at it as a whole, and like looking at practice today with other former players, it's like, wow, man, this is really, really a family. This is really like a fraternity, brotherhood.
Did we have any fun that night?
Oh man, we went out. I guess we was out like we wanted, like because that's what it feels like.
Yeah,
when they're an extension of us.
And the molding or whatever you want to call it, the blending of different eras. When you look at the Larry Brown guys and the Roy Williams guys and the Bill guys, and I don't know other programs. I don't know if it's like this, but for us, it's amazing.
It is. We truly feel like family. It's like we feel like we probably all played together, but we didn't.
And a huge part of that is Bill. Bill has accepted everyone. Anybody wants to come, and it's great. And we've had an incredible run, and it's just crazy to me that in 100 and almost 30 years of Kansas basketball, 8 head coaches. Bill is the 8th.
Wow.
Think about that.
Wow. Man, I mean, Bill, he's done a great job of keeping it a family atmosphere, keeping it a brotherhood, keeping the ongoing tradition, and I love what he's able to bring to the table.
And speaking of that, Jock Vaughn.
I just love seeing Jock on the staff. I was like, man, Jock is there. That's a great move for the organization. Got somebody who spilled blood, sweat, and tears on this court. Now being able to come back here and give back, that's amazing.
And you obviously an unbelievable career in the NBA, and college basketball has changed so much. A guy like Jock, who has spent his entire coaching career in the NBA, now works, not that it wouldn't have worked before, but it works better now, and kind of talk about how college basketball has changed and how that piece of it is different.
Yeah, well, college basketball, it's like pieces come and go in it, and it's like you got to deal with 1 year guys, 2 years, high school, portal. It's like forever changing pieces. But when you got guys who've been around the spectrum like Jock, who understands the landscape of these kids, who's able to give his input and bring some different type of energy. Because, being a player in the NBA, college, one of the top players, he has an understanding of this generation. But it's hard. I'm telling you, because I'll be around these kids too, and I'm like, man, I don't know how these coaches coach. I don't know if I could do it.
Greg asked you about the most recent title team, and then he talked about some of the guys you played with. That begs the question. To this day, those of us that were around in the 90s, we still contend the 97 team would have beaten anybody. 4 starters that played 10-plus years. He forgot he had the shirt on.
I forgot I brought this shirt.
Look at this.
I kept this shirt. Big 12 champs, 97.
97.
Look how I had this.
4 guys that spent more than a decade in the NBA. Some think that's the most talented team in Kansas history. Would you put 97 up against anybody?
Yeah, I definitely would. And it just goes to show you we were one of the great college teams, but it just goes to show you it's hard to win a national championship. Everything has to fall your way. I believe we started off like 21-0. Man, like you said, we had 4 pros that had 10-year careers. I thought for sure that was going to be our year. We were number 1 in the nation, and just like I said, it's tough to win. But that team, I'll stack that team against anybody in college history.
The 98 team is really good, too. And on this weekend that you bring your daughter, Priyana, back to see Allen Fieldhouse for the 1,000th game in the history of this great building. Isn't that cool? We were thinking about some of the great performances on James Naismith Court, and obviously his game versus Oklahoma when he rattled off 15 consecutive points on senior night. Take me back to that night, how in the zone you were, but then also the exchange Kelvin Sampson had with you in the midst of that.
Man, what a lot of people don't know, in my 3 years, my mother never came to Allen Fieldhouse until that night. That was her, I think she kind of knew I kind of told her this may be my last game at Allen Fieldhouse. And I wanted it to be special. I know it was senior night, but it was like, I felt like, I was a senior that night and this was it. And so I wanted to go out there and put on the show and hopefully we win, not at the expense of me putting on the show, but it was just one of those nights. And it just, once I got into the zone, it was just like one shot fall, then another one fall, and it was just like, hold on here. When I look at that, I'm talking about the ball wasn't even hitting the rim. I was just like, I think I could have closed my eyes and knocked some shots down. And so like when I got to like 13, it was just like the crowd's crazy. I'm looking like, I remember pointing to my mom. They go, there it is. And then I remember as I was going to the bench after the 50, they called the timeout Oklahoma. And Kelvin Sampson was like, I remember the exchange. He was like, it's time for you to go to the NBA or something like that. He was like, you don't need to be in college. Like, it was something pertaining
That's because he didn't want to play anymore.
Yeah, he was like, just go. Just leave school now. And I was just like, man, that was a special feeling seeing that crowd that night, knowing that was my last home game.
Now, Paul, you're doing all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
The podcast you do with KG, The Ticket and the Truth, and a partnership with Roots of Fight.
Yeah, I think that's a special partnership because what they do is they go back and, they recreate your moments, legendary moments from like college or high school. And, I'm partnering with them. They've done some things with Wilt Chamberlain to where they brought back some of his apparel. With Wilt, and I think it's important for us to remember some of the old legends, so they're not forgotten. Especially at these historic schools, they've done stuff with like Iverson, and they bring back the throwbacks from their like high school or college days. And now we're partnering and doing something with them for Kansas, where they'll bring back my old Kansas 34, and I think that's going to be cool. And sharing some moments with my number and some pictures that'll relive some of my moments.
That's fantastic.
In your podcast, can we get KG to come to a
Yeah,
game?
KG definitely coming because we be on the podcast like Rod, Chuck, J.R.
Where do you think KG would have gone to school if he didn't go straight to the league?
We talk about that all the time. I think he had about like 250,000 coming from Michigan. They had the bag ready for him. I think they had the bag in the car truck ready for him.
NIL.
I wondered about that because you played with a Kentucky guy in Antoine Walker. Ray Allen was from UConn. How much are you just sitting around the locker room and pounding your chest for Rock Chalk?
Man, we always talked about our programs, because those are some elite programs.
Yeah.
Best of the best when you talk about UConn and obviously Kentucky. These are heavy in tradition. And, these are places where we go and we can hold our chest and chin up and be proud of what we represented and how we represent it wherever we go.
Well, we were talking earlier today. You remember where you were in 2008
when
you were playing at Milwaukee and you were watching the national championship game with your teammates.
Yeah,
and
we all went.
Also the same year you won your NBA title.
Yes, so it was the same year. That was like an awesome year because it was April for you guys. We were in Milwaukee. Never forget this. We're at Potawatomi at the casino because that was like the only place open. I guess we can go there. They had a bar with a lot of TVs, and we went there and watched the game. And I just remember, like, man, jumping up and down. Rio hit the shot. I was just like yelling. Everybody looking at me crazy, and I'm making the scene, and I'm running around. I got a cigar. I'm like, oh my God, I couldn't believe it. And then we go on to win the championship that same year. It was a special year for.
And full circle, you won your NBA final with a teammate, Scott Pollard.
Yeah, definitely. Just to be able to share that moment with him, we accomplished it on the NBA level, something that we didn't accomplish on the college level. So that was great to be able to hug him and be like, yeah, we finally did it.
Before we get you out of here, we got to get at least a couple of Roy Williams stories from you. I know he has one about Roy's commitment to academic excellence. He's going to ask
You
you
want to
about.
tell that story?
Oh God!
You want to lead with that, or do you want to
I
first talk
guess,
about just the impact and imprint he made on your life? Which one do you want to start with?
Roy was definitely influential on me. He pushed me, but I was telling, I was telling Greg this story. I was like, man, I remember my first, because it's freezing right now. I was like, being a California, Los Angeles kid, 70s in the winter, I come out here like no sweat. I get here in August, the weather's not turning yet, so the weather turns finally. November, December, it turns. So I go out to class thinking just, I got a regular hood on. I'm like, woo, no, that ain't it. So I go into my room. This is too cold. So I don't go to class that day. Okay. So I come down the next day. I'm like, oh, no, I can't do this. So I call my high school coach, and I'm like, Coach, I don't have a jacket for this weather. I'm going to die out here. And so he's like, all right, I'll send you one. So, it probably took like a week for the jacket to get here. So I would just be in my room watching TV, making some food, or just going to lunch, coming back, going to practice. Coach finds out I'm not in class for like a week. He was like, what? They're saying you're not in class. I said, Coach, it's too cold. I don't have a jacket. He said, you need to get to class. We don't play that around here with the academics, because he was strict on that. And I was like, all right, yeah, okay. So I remember, that next day, I'm thinking again, like, man, I don't know. I'm going to go. So I go. I was like, all right, let me go to class. When I get to class, when I tell you he was sitting right in my seat waiting on me to get there, I looked. I was like, oh, I'm glad I came, because before he made me get up at 6 a.m., to do this run that we had to do. So I had to get up and do that. It's like 6 a.m. I had to be at his office. Now we're going to go on the track and run or something. And he made me do that. So then I was like, all right, let me get to class. So he was in my seat that day.
In your seat.
Make sure I was in class that next day. I was like, and I definitely was there.
That's fantastic. On top of your attendance in class, how did he make you better on the floor? What's the best thing you can attribute his coaching to?
Man, he just pushed me. You know what he told me? I'm a McDonald's All-American coming out. I'm the best player in the West. I'm like, I come here and start. It's like, in first day of practice, he was like, you're not starting. You got to earn that. And I was just like, man, for real. Because every other recruiting trip I took, they was like, you're going to come in, you're going to be the guy, we building everything for you. And he wasn't playing. He made you earn everything. And I respected that. And I was like, man, all right. I got my work cut out for me, so everything I got from him, I know I earned it, and I put in the work to get to where I needed to be for him, and so I respected that from him.
Well, we love having you back. I'm excited about the BYU game. I'm excited you're going to see a game for the first time.
I know, man. I can't let that go by like that no more. It won't happen again.
I loved your answer. It's a privilege to be a Jayhawk. You treat it with such respect. And at your superstar status, you come back and make everybody feel welcome, and it's a trait that is something to admire.
Man, I pulled it out, man.
Oh yeah, show this.
I had to pull it out the woodwork, so I still got it. Got it, yo. Still got it.
Student ID.
Student ID from 1990.
Incredible.
The fall of 95.
95, I still got it.
Incredible. I love it. Paul, we always close in rapid fire fashion with something we call the fast break. 4 quick questions, lighthearted stuff, fun stuff. We'll go back and forth. First one, what's one teammate from your Kansas career that doesn't get enough run, doesn't get enough love for what he was worth to those teams? This is his chance to be heard today.
Oh, I'm going to say, it was a walk-on. I'm telling you, he used to push me in practice. T.J. Watley. I will never forget T.J. Watley. He used to push me. I used to be so frustrated off. He was a walk-on, too. Man, T.J., he made me better. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to give T.J. Watley some love, man. He made me better.
Favorite Jayhawk Towers memory?
Favorite Jayhawk Towers. I remember when Lester Earl got here, and he from Louisiana. He had ties with Master P. I remember going to his room for the first time, and he had the big screen TV. He had the big screen TV with the PlayStation, so we all used to hang in his room. It was like, how you get this? You must know some people.
You must know some people. Okay, we mentioned you brought your daughter Priyana. If you were going to sell her on becoming a Jayhawk, she's a high school senior right now. Yeah. Why would you tell her Kansas is the place for her?
Kansas is the place. You want to go to a place that's cold, so you ain't worried about the weather. And it'll save me half the trip across the country, save a little money there. And you got tradition. You got all the classes that you're looking to take at the other school you're trying to go to. And this is a family, and this is forever. Let's do it.
It's a pretty good sentence right there. We'll end on that one. That was awesome.
All right, y'all.
Paul, thank you so much.
Man,
So great to have you back.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
The truth has been heard right here on Kansas Nation.